Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh, yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the office. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the morning grind. I'm Heath, and I'll be your host. Lot going on. I was away yesterday. My brother invited me over for dinner. My brother and his wife did, on Sunday, and just said stay at the house with us over the night. So we had dinner, and then we played board games with the nephews. We played code names. Actually, we just played code names this time, so didn't dive into Hero Quest or Dragon Strike. Next time, we're gonna do that very soon. I actually, for their birthdays, got them all model rockets, and so we built the model rockets a few weeks ago, but we haven't been able to shoot them yet. So we got to schedule a time to go shoot model rockets, play board games, shoot model rockets and play board games, and who knows, maybe even eat pizza or something like that in the coming week. So I was over at their house on Sunday night, and then I just stayed with them, and then saw the boys off to school in Monday morning, and then drove home. So wasn't here, had a great time. Hopefully you are also having a wonderful and productive day. I haven't been so productive. I'm majorly failing NaNoWriMo. I was out, what was that, Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night, and I just decided to, go get a haircut and hung out at Buffalo Wild Wings, and then was with family yesterday. So I've been very, very unproductive on like the NaNoWriMo front. Let's see who we got. Good morning, James. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Andrew. Good to see you. Good morning. Zero the Blade. Good morning. Ghostly Karma is here. Good morning. Good morning, Brett. Good morning, PH. Phaserist. Oh, hey, good morning, Phaserist. Yes. So we are going to be talking about the how to write a novella in 10 days, which I'm going to desperately need here as I have been failing at NaNoWriMo. Good morning, Stray. Good morning. Yeah, we used to, I had model rockets, and we should have really been big into that, but we didn't, because especially with my interest in space, and I wanted to work for NASA and all of that when I was a kid. But we never really, but we only shot them a few times for different reasons. Let's see. PH says, "Hey Heath, have you seen OpenAI Dev Day? They launched Chat, I guess the GPT Turbo, possibility to create your own GPT and more." No, I have not. Let me chat OpenAI Dev Day. I want to say, well, actually, now that you mentioned that, I may have seen a tweet go by. There was something about unlocking a lot of other OpenAI Dev Day 20 hours ago opening keynote address. Okay, I will check that out. I think I saw something go by about a whole lot more apps that were available for Chat GPT. Maybe it's like opening up like the App Store. So that's what I thought it was, like an App Store for Chat GPT as that was rolling by. So that must be what it is. I will check that out. It was fun. It was fun. Yes. Okay. So tonight, let me bring this up. Tonight, we are looking at Arcane. And well, actually, another reason that I was not massively productive yesterday when I got back, I had a meeting yesterday about the Table Talk channel and still trying to get that operating as a system. But tonight, we are talking about Arcane. So right here, Brianna is going to be here. I got a meeting with Brianna this afternoon on the creative side of things. Doug will be here. We'll be talking about Arcane. I have watched it all. Yesterday, after the meeting, I was doing a few things, and I was trying to upload YouTube videos, and I was like, I've got to watch Arcane. And yes, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. I really enjoyed that in a way I haven't enjoyed a lot of TV shows in a long time. I mean, I've got I guess what's the last TV show? Well, I did start. My brother introduced me to Yellowstone. He had me sit down and watch the first the pilot episode of Yellowstone, and that did seem like it was going to be good, and I would like to watch more on that. But I'm sitting here trying to think of what's the last TV show that I sat down with and was like, oh wow, this is great. But Arcane was definitely it. So I had a fantastic time. So let me put the link here. So this is on the Table Talk channel. Wait a minute. I'm still going to be oh, here it is. So this is actually the link. So I'm co-streaming it on this channel and on Table Talk until we can get Table Talk monetized. We can take super chats and things over there. But so it would really help us to watch over there on the Table Talk channel. So this is Arcane tonight. Arcane discussion tonight. That is the link. So there we go. We got 415 subscribers on the new Table Talk channel. So please come over there, hit the notify me button. That's 7:00 p.m. Central Time tonight, 9 hours away. That's going to be great. So I actually didn't take a massive amount of notes. I may try to rewatch a couple of things and also before, but I got so much to do. I've got to get the Trial of St. Gabriel going. But and I got to talk to Brianna. But I may try to watch a little bit more and take some notes because I was just watching. So really enjoyed that. The Cultists YouTube channel, we've been working on bringing that online. We still got a few things to work with, but Brianna's been creating new thumbnails so that everything has a consistent look. We'll be working on that again tomorrow. People ask, do we have like producer, like behind the scenes commentary for the episodes? And the answer is absolutely yes. And probably I might start dropping those as early as tomorrow over here on the Cultist YouTube channel. we've got like director's commentary for the and producer's commentary, director and producer's commentary on both episodes, on all the episodes. And so director and producer's commentary on episode 1, season 1 might be coming very soon. The Cultist is our comedy mockumentary show about Lovecraftian, modern day Lovecraftian cultists who just want to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand. And we got 988 subscribers. We're about to cross the 1,000 subscriber mark over on the Cultist's dedicated YouTube channel. You know, I've been working really hard on branding. I've gone all the way back to the beginning of all of my projects, and I've been working on boom, getting all of them set up and getting them systematized and better branded. I think it's going to really help us in the long run. So now 988 subscribers have come by, and I noticed, like, okay, so the trailer, this says it has 599 views. Briefly, it was being shown on some people's homepage on YouTube. So 3 days ago, 599. So I'm really happy about that. I think the better branding is going to help us out in so many different ways. Model rockets at the beach. That sounds cool. We used to shoot them at like the ballpark parking lot. Unfortunately, though, we had a couple of disasters. One disaster was that my brother had a model rocket that you could put an action figure in, and then the action figure would bail out with its own parachute and drop back down. And learned a lesson there that he put his so of course, who are you going to put in there to go on a special space mission? Well, it was his favorite G.I. Joe. I even remember his name. It's Bullhorn, the Bullhorn G.I. Joe. And unfortunately, that one went off course, and I believe the rocket and the action figure were lost in the woods, which must have been really off course, because I mean, we're in the baseball field parking lot, but I remember we lost one. Raven Keep Discord, yes. Wait, where's the ocean, not the beach? Well, I was wondering what happens if they fall in the ocean. Can't you recover them? Discord server, yes, please do. I'm still working on updating our Discord server. It's already better. I was cleaning out some of our channels the other day. Let's see. PH says, okay, you convinced me. Everybody talks about how great Arcane is great, but how Arcane is great. I couldn't finish the first episode. Maybe it was a period when I wasn't ready for it. Okay, so yeah, the thing is, I tried to watch it a while back ago, and I just watched the first episode. And the first episode is also different because the kids in it, I don't think this is any type of major spoiler, but the kids grow up. So it's actually not really a story about young kids, but the first episode, they're younger in it. And I was like, I tried to watch it and I had to turn it off because I was like, hey, this seems like something I'm really going to have to study. But especially by then you go to episode 2, and especially by about episode 3, people are like, once you get watching, you just want to keep watching. And that was the case. By the time, because originally I had said, could we just do like watch episodes 1 to 3 or something? So by the time I got to about episode 3, I just kept it on play and went all the way through all of them. Yeah, the Trial of St. Gabriel. Thank you very much. I have got, this has got to get underway here, but the Trial of St. Gabriel, this is, not that one. Come by. Can we get 10 people interested in my dark Christmas story about the Christmas massacre at Bethlehem called The Trial of St. Gabriel? We need at least 10 people to click the link so we can get at least a follower count of 10 people up on the Trial of St. Gabriel. Sable's a huge fan. Sable says, the first episode is all setup and necessary setup. Watch it through episode 3. Okay, episode 3. All right, I was about to say, once we hit episode 3, man, you just keep going. Watch it through episode 3 at least, and if you're not hooked, well, maybe it actually isn't for you. I'll wager any amount of money that you will be, though. Oh, thank you, James. Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Let's see. Oh, we have a Sable. Excuse me. Stray has gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Oh, did PH get that? PH was gifted a membership by Stray Kismet. So, yeah, thank you very much, Stray. PH just got a membership. Thank you. Thank you so much, and congrats to PH. Zero the Blade says, I still found it weird that you want to review Arcane this year when season 2 is coming out next year and the semifinals of World 23 is happening this weekend. Well, Arcane has been on our list for a long time. I don't know what World 23 is. Should I? I looked to see if there was going to be a second season of the. I looked to see if there was going to be another season of Arcane, and there is. So yeah, it's coming out next year or something. Micah says, morning all, writing but listening may interject later as I'm a planner who has successfully done 50K words last 5 years for NaNoWriMo. That's incredible. I've got to get back to it. Oh, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. Okay, so also right here, so just in case you are looking for this link, this is what we're going to be talking about here today, the 10-day novel writing method for plotters and pantsers. And this is by Adron Smitley. 10-day novel writing method. So come over here. That still says it looks like it's free at the moment. Okay. Let me take that down. I might need to get something else to drink this morning. But I'm good for the moment. All right, let's go over here. You know who we really need to have on Table Talk? You think Stephen Pressfield would come on Table Talk? Stephen Pressfield needs to come on Table Talk, especially since he's so influential. You know, he's one of my favorite authors. The Gates of Fire is one of my favorite novels ever. And it is probably my favorite standalone novel. Like if you just pick up one novel, like here's one novel to read, I think it would be Gates of Fire. And then, of course, he's been so influential here on the Morning Grind when we read The War of Art for our inspiration every morning. So got your coffee or your favorite beverage? I've got one of the Witch's Brew mugs this morning. One of the Witch's Brew mugs. Got Coke Zero this morning. Like I said, probably going to have to get some more here in just a second. But let's breathe and sip 2 inhales, deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. And sip. The Magic of Making a Start in The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid gems. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would not otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings, and material assistance which no man would have dreamed would come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Begin it now. Oh, I like that too. I like that too. W.H. Murray, The Scottish Himalayan Expedition. Did you ever see Wings of Desire? Wim Welder's film about angels among us. City of Angels with Meg Ryan and Nicolas Cage was the American version. I believe it. I believe there are angels. They're here, but we can't see them. Angels work for God. It's their job to help us, wake us up, bump us along. Angels are agents of evolution. The Kabbalah describes angels as bundles of light, meaning intelligence, consciousness. Kabbalists believe that every blade of grass, that above every blade of grass is an angel crying, grow, grow. I'll go further. I believe that above the entire human race is one super angel crying, evolve, evolve. Angels are like muses. They know stuff we don't. They want to help us. They're on the other side of the pane of glass, shouting to get our attention, but we can't hear them. We're too distracted by our own nonsense. But when we begin, When we make a start, when we conceive an enterprise and commit to it in the face of our fears, something wonderful happens. A crack appears in the membrane, like the first craze when a chick pecks at the inside of a shell. Angel midwives congregate around us. They assist us as we give birth to ourselves, to that person we were born to be, to the one whose destiny was encoded in our soul, our daemon, our genius. When we make a beginning, we get out of our own way and allow the angels to come in and do their job. They can speak to us now, and it makes them happy. It makes God happy. Eternity, as Blake might have told us, has opened a portal into time, and we're it. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Let's see. Breathe and exhale. Breathe and exhale. Yes, yes. So Riot China was a group that released the Arcane Season 2 before the end of World 32 to ruin the surprise. Oh, I don't know anything about that. Yes, please do hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the like button. That is important. And it's not just a vanity thing, as I've been finding out, that it's if you hit the like button because you like the stream, that pushes it out via the algorithm to other people, like people who are subscribed, but who YouTube may not be showing the stream to. So if you like it, YouTube's more likely to show it to people who are like subscribed and may want to be here, but YouTube, they just don't know what's going on right now. Maybe they're sitting on YouTube right now and would love to be here. Have I ever talked about The Fringe? I find it a good science fiction show. John Noble is an amazing actor. I have not. We have not. I don't know it. Okay, just before we get started, let's see, bringing up, I do need to bring up Kendall here, but I do want to point out that Hadrian's Wall is 80 Roman miles long, which is 73 miles long. So I was wondering how long Hadrian's Wall is. So it is probably, yes, the most famous frontier of all of the Roman Empire. It is a World Heritage Site, and that's 80 Roman miles or 73 miles. I guess that's American miles long. So 73 American miles. If you're wondering how long Hadrian's Wall is, it's 73 miles. It's just a fact about the Roman Empire for you all to enjoy. All right, let's go over here and pull up Adron's new book. Let me take down my screen sharing. This is the 10-day novel writing method. Good morning, John. Good morning. Good morning. And of course, we're starting with the RFE. Absolutely. Actually, you know, I am going to, I'm going to pour more drink here. So very early, then we will start. Oh, here we go, right here. So the 10-day novella writing method for plotters and pantsers. Just one second. I'm going to grab something else to drink.
Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break. Everybody go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love.
All right. Okay. The 10-day novella writing method for plotters and pantsers. An easy peasy triumph protagonist novel plot formula using Save the Cat. So much writing that I do. There's so much writing and reading to do. The 10-day novella writing method for plotters and pantsers. The easy peasy triumph protagonist novella plot formula using Save the Cat by Adron J. Smitley. Get it on Amazon at the moment, free. This plot book is intended as an easy teaching manual and quick reference guide to help you write a novella in 10 days or less fast. God, I need it. Zillions of books on plot exist, my Write Club series among them, and sometimes we writers get so bogged down in the details of trying to make everything perfect that we spend too much time planning and plotting and not enough time actually writing. I've written a handful of plot books that go into excruciating detail describing every plot point imaginable, but here I'm doing the exact opposite and keeping things as simple and as basic as possible. And so should you, because productivity is key. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Okay, wait a minute, I like this. I'm doing the exact opposite and keeping things as simple and as basic as impossible, and you should too, because productivity is key. We like productivity around here. Let's see. Failing to plan is planning to fail. True enough. But too much planning leads to too little writing. So here's the deal. After you have your outline finished, you will spend the next 10 days writing at least 1,000 words per day. At the end of those 10 days, you will have the first draft of your 10,000 word novella finished. And I think that's a good length. When I was doing the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows short stories, those two short stories, I believe were like 5,000 words. I mean, this is a novel at 10,000. The Trial of St. Gabriel, I think, came out to about 6,500 words. I think 5,000 to 10,000 words is a good length. You can get into a lot, but at the same time, it's short enough that it's not like, hey, read this gigantic novel. The key point here is to get your first draft done. I've got several stories that could probably be told in that format. Phaser Wrist says, my first rule of productivity is write first, edit last. Do not edit while writing. The time for corrections and omitting needless words comes later. But if you describe your protagonist's shirt as blue in chapter 3 and then accidentally describe the same shirt as red in chapter 7, so what? Keep writing. You can always go back and revise your mistakes after the first draft is finished. If it helps, pretend you cannot see your computer screen while writing. If it helps even more, literally tape a piece of construction paper over your computer screen while writing. Point being, get your first draft done above all else. You can spend the next 10 years revising and editing it all you like. I don't care. But you cannot edit a first draft that does not exist. Procrastination is where most writers fail, so avoid it like the plague. And excuses? The average person types 40 words per minute, which equals 25 measly minutes of writing per day for this novel formula. For those now those excuses are bullshit, and you only have yourself to blame if you fail, because you never fail until you stop trying. Forget world building and charting extensive family trees. Outline your story according to the provided formula, and then write the damn thing. When Brianna and Doug and I had our episode on world building, we were talking about how much world building is necessary for a story, and it's often less than you actually believe. Oh, also, so the Fringe people are talking about great stuff about the Fringe too. So much to read. Oh, and Napoleon is coming out soon. I had completely forgotten that. But Napoleon, the movie, is coming out soon, and I was hyped for that. I watched the trailer a couple more times. I had forgotten. I was like, oh yeah, I'm excited about that. I want to watch the Napoleon movie. I'm a big fan of Napoleon. I've been watching a bunch of documentaries on YouTube about the Napoleonic Wars. It's a tradition in my family that at a certain age, the guys in the family go through a Napoleon phase. Actually, the oldest nephew is now the right time to really be introduced to Napoleon. I need to take him in order to introduce him to Napoleon. Like 6th, 7th grade, right in there. You really get into Napoleon in my family. So right now he's in 7th grade. So the movie's coming out. I need to take him. I need to message my brother about that to make sure that he goes ahead and gets inducted into Napoleon. So we're going to have to talk about that on the grind as well. I know Doug wants to watch that. 1,333 words per day, average 50K in a month. I've gotten the first draft of 3 novels done, but on the 5th revision for the first of them still editing takes far longer. John says, I would love a part 2 of the world building table talk stream. That was excellent. Well, yeah, we probably will do it, and probably will. I would think we will do it. Now, there's a lot of topics. We got a lot of topics to cover. But to do it in ways that, that was a general world building episode. I was like, how do we do a general world building episode? Because it's such a huge topic. Then we could then come up with subtopics within world building or world building for certain purposes, I think. Phaser Wrist says, I'm excited for Napoleon too. Such an impactful character of history. Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. He's one of those guys that you would never think existed. Julius Caesar, Napoleon. The order should be write, revise, and edit. Start big, then move to small. Don't revise what you write. Don't revise while you write. Do not edit while you write or revise. Andrew says 40 words per minute is pretty good. I remember way back when you had to take a typing test. My speed had gone up a bit, but my error rate has gone way up. Computers have that advantage over typewriters. Oh, you can do 80 words per minute. Like, I don't know how many words per minute I write, but I'd have to know what I'm writing. But then you're writing and not chatting. There's a lot of pauses there as you stop to watch the movie play out before you can write it down. Phaser rule says, number one for edit. My number one rule for edit, if you only do one thing, remove the word was and restructure your sentence. Dialogue is an exception. This is my golden nugget to all writers above all else. You know, I have a feeling there are going to be little tidbits like that. Whoa! Dropping books. I have a feeling there are going to be little tidbits like this, like that in Your Screenplay Sucks. I'm going to make a note of that in this book. Because the author of this book seemed like he had that. Let's see. Remove the word was. From everything, not dialogue. Good morning, TSL. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, hey, it's Paulie from the Latino Slant. Yeah, okay, yes, okay. So, now, Adron is going to be on Table Talk next Thursday. So we got that one booked. This Thursday is Justin Alexander. He's the guy who wrote So You Want to Be a GM. I don't know how can I have stuff all over the place and not find it? Anyway, he wrote the How to Be a Great GM guide. We're going to look at that on Thursday, and then Thursday night he will be with us. So on the morning grind, we're going to take a look at how to be a great GM. Then on Thursday night, we will be talking to Justin, who wrote it. And then, and then next Thursday, we're going to have Adron on the show. Paulie, it's so good to see you here. In fact, Paulie, let's talk about what Paulie is doing just for a second. Let me bring this link up. Everybody, if you're not following Paulie, follow the Latino Slant. Let me come up with your link here. Paulie has been with us on General Geekdom when we were doing General Geekdom, and which has kind of just become Table Talk now. But Paulie has got a story on Indiegogo right now. Let me come over here and get it. So I want to bring that up because I like people around here who are not just, we do story analysis and story reviews and all of that, but also who are actually making things. They Call Me Charleston, new novella. So yes, okay, so here it is. They Call Me Charleston. Let me take this down just for a second. Oh, he's doing very well. They Call Me Charleston, new novella. Help the Latino Slant, that is Paulie's channel, launch a new series of sci-fi and fantasy novellas. So right here, I will put this link in here. He's raised $2,719 from 67 backers to make this happen. Congratulations, Paulie. That's amazing. So here is They Call Me Charleston. Right there. So that's another thing going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the community right here. So check this out. So this is I'm Polly here. Let's see. Past few years, I'm realizing I'm hearing a lot of the same questions. Where are our stories? We want stories new and exciting, bold and entertaining. Well, that's the main reason why we are stepping onto the creative area with our first novella. They Call Me Charleston. Since I'm passionate about great stories, instead of just complaining about Hollywood's ignorance and lack of creativity, I put my pen to paper. By giving you, the audience, something new to be excited about, the Latino Slant now has an answer to where are our stories. And that's what I really like. That's when I was talking about, we don't always have to be positive, because we don't always like things that are coming out. We do a lot of reviews and look at things that are going out. So we have to be honest about whether or not we like something or not. But what's important is that we're constructive, that we are constructive. And so now Paulie is also doing that. So he is on the side of constructive, making things and being constructive as well. So anyway, check that out. Paulie and the Latino Slant. Paulie with the Latino Slant is one of our allies in that regard. Whoop. So also talking about the word very over here. Recommend remove the word was, and I'll add that you should remove the word very as well. Removing very is famously advised in the Dead Poets Society. Man, that was also a good movie. Now, I watched that one much later. I mean, not real recently, but for some reason, it was always one of those, the titles that I knew about, but hadn't ever watched until rather recently. No problem. I'm very happy to get you the shout out. Oh, Sable's pulling up the Latino Slant right now. I should probably YouTube the Latino Slant. If you're looking for a direct link right here, there's a direct link. So we got the link to the Indiegogo and now a link to the YouTube channel as well. It had been the best of times. It had been the worst of times. Yeah, they're all things that, yes, not necessarily an absolute. I can only write after doing all the charts and subcharts when there's almost no space to create, and putting the right words becomes more of a fitting game. Oh, Phaser Risk says I need to get a Geekverse mug. Yeah, the mugs, like this is the Witch's Brew mug, which is a spoof of the Starbucks logo, of course. We've got Witch's Brew and Cultist Coffee mugs. There's still a few left on ravenkeep.net. All right, so back here to 10-day novella writing. All right. So we were just saying, forget world building and charting extensive family trees. Outline your story according to the provided formula and then write the damn thing. So what are you waiting for? Turn the page. I'm going to tell you a story while breaking it down into the provided plot formula. But before all of that, here's Blake Snyder's famous Save the Cat beat sheet. Act 1, opening image, snapshot of your hero before their journey. Step 2, setup, introduce your main characters. 3, theme stated, introduce your theme. 4, catalyst, inciting incident. 5, debate, second thoughts. 6, break in 2, climax of Act 1. Act 2, B sub-story, subplot 1. 8, fun and games, obstacles and adventures. Midpoint, big twist, plus or minus. 10, bad guys close in obstacles and danger. 10, all is lost, disaster, false sense of security. 12, dark night of the soul, crisis. 13, break into the climax of Act 3. 14, finale, climax of Act 3, storming the castle. 14A, gathering the team, tool up. 14B, execute the plan, engage. C, high tower surprise, all is lost again. 14D, dig deep down, theme utilized. 14E, execute new plan, all is won. 15, final image, denouement, snapshot of how your protagonist has changed. Now, I'm big on simplification. Ironic how long that word considering its definition. Reason being, if you know nothing of math, I believe it best to teach you basic addition and subtraction than to hand you a thick manual on advanced calculus and then pat you on the back before walking away. Which is why I've simplified the explanation of the included story beats that apply to the triumphant protagonists. Also, because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. So if you're unfamiliar with Blake Snyder's famous Save the Cat beat sheet, then I highly suggest you read his book, which we did look at Save the Cat on the Morning Grind a few days ago. So if you don't or want to read it, you just want to see what the beat sheet is about, we've got a Morning Grind episode on that, which is how we found Adron and then his series of books. And here is the easy peasy triumphant protagonist novella formula using Save the Cat. Act 1. Chapter 1, opening image, setup, and theme stated. Chapter 2, catalyst, and sometimes also debate. Chapter 3, debate and break into 2. Act 2, B story subplot. Wait a minute. Let me wrap my head around this. So Act 1, it's telling you Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the opening image, setup, and theme stated. Then Chapter 2 happens. We've got the catalyst and sometimes also the debate. And Chapter 3, the debate and or break into 2. Act 2 becomes Chapter 4, B story subplot. Chapter 5 becomes fun and games, which is, I hadn't ever heard that. I had specifically laid out until I had read Save the Cat, and now Adron uses that. But before having that word for it, fun and games, I think that's that's one of my favorite parts of the story. Because that's when everything's going well and you get to see all of your heroes at full power before all these terrible things have happened to them and people die and everything else. You're getting to see power there at Fun and Games. Chapter 6, midpoint. Chapter 7, bad guys close in. Chapter 8, all is lost and sometimes also Dark Night of the Soul. Chapter 9, Dark Night of the Soul and or break into 3. Act 3 is Chapter 10, finale and final image. 10 chapters of a 1,000 word each, 10 chapters of 1,000 words each for a 10,000 word novella. Uh, 10 chapters. Okay, so as you can see, I've either paired together or suggested pairings of several of the beats for easy reference and writing. Please understand that this is just a starting blueprint to get you writing and to keep you writing, nothing more. If you finish your first draft and some of your chapters are longer or shorter than 1,000 words, that's perfectly fine. You may even combine shorter chapters or divide longer chapters as you see fit during revision, all according to your particular story. The 10 chapters of 1,000 words each is merely a goal for you to strive for. Describe each story beat with just 1 or 2 sentences for your starting outline. As Blake Snyder said, I learned that if I can't fill in the blank in 1 or 2 sentences, that I don't yet have a beat. I'm just guessing while treading water and about to drown. Yeah, because that's what I can write when I know what to write. Like, as long as I know what I'm supposed to be writing, then I can sit down and write. When I don't know that, it doesn't go well. Also, after which you can expand on your outline with more detail. Also understand that the 5-point finale and all it entails is basically just the entire previous Save the Cat beat sheet retold, condensed on steroids, as well as the triumphant protagonist finally incorporates the theme that had first eluded them, which is why they achieved success against the antagonist. At least for your first novella, use the one powerful sentence of the tried and true classic quest plot because it institutes immediate conflict and building tension of a ticking time clock, as well as providing an endless amount of options from which to create and design your story, an object to obtain, and a limited time to obtain it. Right. Well, that's what we're talking about, the rules and following the rules and then knowing when to break them, right? But yeah, like, if you went through, like, so what I would do, like we're talking about here, which I think is what Adron and Phaser Wrist is talking about, and vary as well. It's really easy to do a search when you're in the edit phase. Give me every instance of was and every instance of vary in the book, in your text, and then you just go through. And sometimes it should be there, but most of the times you might find out that it's not. That is another one. Go through and just once you're done, go through and do a search for the word that. I tend to use that one a lot unintentionally. So sometimes it needs to be there, but if you look deliberately at every use of the word that, the vast majority of them can be gotten rid of. In its early days, the city grew upon the island like a patch of mushrooms, first in small rings, then becoming a great merged patch as more and more people joined the mass. Okay, so also understand that the 5 point. Oh, we just read that. And now the sample story breakdown, a whimsical farce of fantasy adventure, heroic hijinks, and mythical monsters. The not-so-legendary journeys of Yor the Mighty, unepic origins. Act 1, Chapter 1, opening image, setup, and theme stated. Yor is living his ordinary life of lonely adventuring, and ignorant of what will make him truly happy, ignorant that what will make him truly happy is the trusty companionship of good and loyal friends, ergo, the theme of friendship. The butt crack of dawn. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed, bronze-skinned, and muscle-bunched Yor, the mighty, awoke in a startled fit. His beefy hands snatched feisty grabs of air through the fading dream of his failed chase of a goat the previous day. He sat bolt upright and bonked his head, for he lay inside a hollowed log upon a comfortable bedding of moss. Yor! After rubbing his sore spot of noggin, he crawled outside from the hollow log. He stood amidst a patch from the most delicious clovers of the area, surrounded by a forest, yawned and stretched his bulging frame to somewhere women grew weak. Stretch his bulging frame as somewhere women grew weak in the knees and swooned, though they knew not why. His impressive sinews flexing through the unquestionable hints and promises of bridled barbarian power. Then he adjusted his saber-toothed tiger loincloth, his only adornment, and passed down unwashed through the generations from barbarian father to barbarian son, as it should be, before flexing his hands, thick knuckles popping, then raking them back through his beautiful golden curls, ending just shy of his wide shelf of muscular shoulders. And there he performed another stretch of his arm. There he performed another stretch. So is this actually Yor? So there is this taken from the Yor short story? Because Adron had said that there was a short story that was basically written using these principles. Now, there are longer novels as well. But I guess novella, maybe not short story, but novella, of Yor the Mighty, which is also on Amazon. Yeah, the point was never use the word was described in Stomping Kittens, was that when you do use the word, it was on purpose. 90% of the time, it's unnecessary and makes a bad sentence. This guy smells like a very smelly Fabio. That's some of the greatest soapy nonsense I've ever heard. And then he performed another stretch of his arms out wide, head craned, his broad back and muscled slab of a chest swelling when he inhaled deeply the crisp morning air while tasting of its freshness. Yor! His empty stomach grumbled something fierce, so that he gazed round and spied the same pesky goat of his failed chase, having returned and watching him from across the way. Yor thinned his eyes and licked his lips. Come closer, goat. You want to eat me? Said the goat after shaking its horned head, defying all logic that animals can't speak. Yor? He palmed his chest, frowning. Of course not. He smiled, though, spreading his arms in wide welcome. Let us be friends. Come, feast. The goat studied him in suspicious silence. Yor approached the hesitant goat with slow abandon, while bending and snatching a handful of yummy clovers from the dewy grass along the way. Here, Yor said, eat. In proving gesture, he offered the goat the handful of clovers upon his upturned palm. The cautious goat sniffed, then, finding them irresistible, nibbled. Yor smiled and gently pet the goat's head. That's it, little one. Enjoy the tasty treat of Yor's offered clovers in celebration of our new friendship. Munch, munch, munch. Surrendering his ruse with lightning quickness, Yor grabbed it by the curled horns. The startled goat cried out, twisting and thrashing its captured head while stamping its protesting hooves. You lied to me! But Yor proved his irresistible barbarian strength by lifting the animal overhead with ease, tossing it, and catching it by the legs. Muscle bulging throughout impressive flexes of sinews, he tore one hind leg free at the hip and slung the three-legged goat away, where it rolled, righted, and then scrambled off into the nearby woods. Yor thrust the bleeding leg at the beautiful blue ocean of a sky and thundered a victorious "Yor!" After which he carried the goat's leg to the circle of stones in front of his sleeping log, clacked rocks and flint for steel, then spitted the leg over the ensuing flames. While waiting for his breakfast of champions to cook, he busied himself with his morning routine. He glanced around, approached a heavy boulder the size of a huddled man, squatted and hugged it around, then stood, and squatted up and down in repeated successions while counting out the repetitions the only way that he knew how. Yor and yor and yor and yor. Up and down, and yor and yor and yor and yor. Bronze-skinned, a healthy glistening sheen of sweat, he finished his boulder squats after 100 yors and punctuated his morning exercise by raising the boulder overhead, then shoving it high up into the air with a mighty heave. Yor! Let's see. Panting, his swole muscles burning with the good kind of ache, he sidestepped before the falling boulder crashed atop his head. Thud. He made the mistake of not moving in time before, and it hurt his noggin for something fierce for a long time afterwards. He dusted his calloused hands again clean. Smack, smack. He returned to the fire, removed the roasted leg of a goat, cooked medium rare, plopped down and ate of the delicious meat until nothing remained but pinked bone and gristle, then loosed an eruptive belch. After which he stood, with a mighty and spinning heave of his beefy arm, threw the bone arching high into the sky. But he turned away instead of watching it, he was sure, disappearing beyond the distant snow-capped mountains, while ignoring that it instead landed about 30 feet behind him in a shivering bush. Next, he slacked his powerful thirst from the rain catcher beside his sleeping log, and scrunched his handsome face while his full belly gurgled, protesting its previous containment. So he walked to the nearest tree, raised his loincloth, and squatted for a good poop while applying a few approving slaps to his washboard abs. Ah, yes. Yor even pushes mightily. Okay. Sable says, I'm guessing that Yor is meant to be comedically unappealing. It seems so, yes. Oh, but James likes this Yor guy. After finishing his mighty push, producing the stuff of excrement legend and the buzzing welcome of hungry flies attracted to his placed fecal feast, he tore a rough strip of bark from the tree and wiped his bare behind clean and tossed the dirtied chip aside. Upon straightening his timber-thick legs and backing away, he gazed down, nodding approval while rubbing his stone-square cut of a chin, and admired his awesome poop a moment overlong, proud of its impressive size, and sure a traveling bard would eventually come along to write his steaming brown coil into a poetic song for the ages it deserved. Yes, he nodded, confident in his next admission. Statues will be built of Yor's mighty swirl. Yet his smile faltered, as for a moment he worried the growing frenzy of feasting flies might devour his inspirational dung heap before it joined the epics of tavern tales spilled from joyous drinkers' lips for generations to come. But the grievance fled seconds more to the strong glint of a morning sun. The morning sun captured his strained gaze while tugging through his thoughts elsewhere, that he forgot the buzzing black swarm of flies. Time once more to adventure. He finished his morning routine. He fetched his trusty broadsword from inside the mossy hollow of his temporary sleeping log, slung his leather strap overhead, and fixed the weapon to his back for the pulling of it over his shoulder, and strode away, seeking the nearest village, while singing his favorite song about his favorite subject, himself. Yor is mighty, Yor is bold, and Yor never does what he's told. Yor kills monsters, Yor slays fiends, and Yor always washes behind his knees. Yor, 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 and something that rhymes with Yor. Oh, Phaser Rift says, actually, I stole the barbarian's name Yor from the Roseanne TV show, LOL. Dan's biker name. Oh, James says, I absolutely love this. So over here, I'll bring up, there we go. The not so legendary journeys of Yor the Mighty. That's where this comes from. A whimsical farce of a fantasy adventure, heroic hijinks, and mythical monsters. This book is worth the price for the epic of Yar alone. Chapter 2, Catalyst, and sometimes also Debate. Yor gleans his first awareness of the story's central conflict because of Silas's posted quest, while meeting the impact character of Ren, who will help push Yor into changing for the better through character growth, eventually realizing through proven teamwork that the friendship adventure companions will make him happiest by appeasing his lonely life. Silas explains the story's central conflict, then Yor and Ren prepare for the journey ahead. After hours of walking while singing to the pleasant sunny afternoon and all the wondrous possibilities it afforded a young and traveling barbarian, refusing to sink any permanent routes of resting, Yor entered Wrench Village, proving a small community of 100 scattered houses and huts, lining a trickled stream on both sides, with a sparse amount of villagers filled buckets or chased clucking chickens, or mucked out stalls, or performed other various chores he paid little attention to because too much description hurts the thinker. None too soon he approached the quest board for adventurers at the village's center, something all places of human habitation possessed, and eyeballed the single piece of paper pinned high thereon that another person in front of him hopped and jumped for reaching at, but they proved too short to accomplish the task. Much taller Yor snatched the lone paper from the community quest board. "Hey," the other said, spinning around in a twirl of a cloak. "I was here first. No fair. That's mine." "Sorry, little girl, but this is Yor's quest." "Little girl," the irritated stranger, alabaster-skinned and dark of hair and eye, her lithe frame swaddled in earthen-toned clothes and a black cloak, frowned up at all 6.5 feet tall and 250 pounds of Yor's chiseled marbled bulk, while fisting her dainty hips, no detectable amount of fear for such a sizable man betraying her disapproving glare a single flinch. "I'm a woman, you giant dope." Micah says, "It certainly is amusing, though not my usual kind of humor. In small doses such as this, absolutely." The publishing house? Unepic Origins, is that it? He ignored her and studied the paper, frowning an instant. "Yor forgot." "What?" I figured he couldn't read. "Yor can't read." He thrust the confusing paper out. "Here, be a good little girl and read this for Yor." She scowled and stomped her petulant foot. "I'm not a little girl." Yor waggled the paper between them. She huffed a terse breath and crossed her arms in challenge, though considered him sidelong. "Only if we share it. That's the last one. And by the looks of this place, there might not be another quest posted for days or even weeks." "No," he shook his head, golden tresses swishing whispers around his bull-thick neck and atop his broad shelf of shoulders, nearly as wide as this feisty stranger tall. "Yor doesn't share." He waggled the paper again. "Read." She turned her head away in bold refusal, chin raised, and stomped her petulant foot again. "No." "Please, little girl." She snapped her fierce gaze straight and thinned to her burning scolds. "I told you, I'm a woman. A tiny woman, yes, no smaller than tiny. The size of a sick child. Why, just this morning, Yor made a poop bigger than—" Okay, I get it. I'm small for my age. So what of it?" Yor smiled his perfect white teeth at her. "You are a feisty one, so tiny. Yeah, well, big things come in small packages." "Yor asks your name, tiny woman." "Ren." Yor slapped his muscled slab of chest, puffing proudly. "Yor the Mighty." "Yor," she cocked him a quizzical eyebrow. "Do you always speak in the third person?" He looked round, confused. They were the only people standing near the community quest board. "What third person? There are only the 5 Yors of us here." He paused. "Yor also doesn't know how to count. So there may even be more yours of us. Oh my gosh. Wren palmed her pretty face and shook her head, dark hair swishing. You're the very definition of a handsome idiot. Obvious barbarian is obvious. She lowered her hand and pointed at him with it. Okay, look. I was here first, and that's the last one. I'll read it for you, but only if you agree that we do the quest together and split the take. Deal? Yor needs no help with quests. She flared her thin, vulpine eyes. Fine, then read it yourself, you dumb lummox. After which she turned and strode away. Yor watched her go, but she stopped 5 steps out and spun around, frowning, glaring. Well, what? Aren't you going to stop me? He blinked at her. No. You big idiot. She flounced return and craned her head around while shaking an admonished finger up at him. Don't you know anything? A strong, independent woman graciously makes you an offer, but you ignorantly refuse her, so she walks away upon principle, and then, coming to your dull-witted senses, in a rare display of masculine acquiescence, you stop her and beg for help, thus proving she was right the entire time. That's how this works. He scrunched his face to the confusion of such big words all strung together. Why? She expelled a breathy sigh. Because you need me to read the quest. That's why. Oh, right. He thrust the paper out again. Here, read. Fine. She snatched the quest paper away, rumbling her throat clear, and read out loud. Dear random adventurer, possibly plural. Please help. Dear random adventurer. I like that. Like, well, who else would something on a board be addressed to? The random adventurer. Oh, Social Justice Whiner is the name of the publishing house? Okay. Okay, Ren makes Yor bearable. If it were just Yor, I'd give up shortly, but Ren is hilarious. Ren is genre savvy, yes. So, dear random adventurer. Or no, this is her. Dear random adventurer. Possibly plural. Please help. Something quest details about retrieving a stolen family heirloom. We'll play 100 gold coins. All have failed and surely died slow and gruesome deaths before you. Wait, I probably shouldn't have written that. Ignore it. Anyway, please help. I live at the top of Notting Hill, north of Wrench Village. You can't miss it. Mine's the only hovel in the graveyard. I'm the Undertaker, see? Hugs and kisses, Silas Shovelface. XO, 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 XO. Ren glanced up. Oh, wait. There's more at the bottom. P.S. My nephew, Xander, also attempted the quest but never returned. If you bring him back, dead or alive, I will afford you a hero's plot for burial in my graveyard, free of charge, taxes not included. I would pay more for his return, but I never really liked him that much anyway. His mother keeps nagging me day and night, and Ren turned over the paper and frowned. There's a lot more of this irritating rambling on the back, but I'm not reading all of that. So she skimmed down to the bottom. TLDR. Retrieve me the heirloom, pretty please, with sugar on top, and my inept nephew if you feel like it. More hugs and kisses, Silas Shovelface, XO, 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 XO. I know, I like that too. TLDR. In a fantasy world. Is this actually an MMO? Is that the twist? Funny enough, Ren is a character in a NaNoWriMo book I'm writing. It's short for something, though. The name. I did know a Ren once, though. Only one I've ever met. She was a good friend. Kind. Thank you, little girl. Yor snapped up the paper into his fisted grip and strode away. Hey! Ren chased after him. Wait up! For what? He asked, without breaking a stride or sparing a glance behind. Because we're splitting the take, she said, sidelong as sidlers often do. Remember? Yor agreed to nothing. Did to, did not, did to. Yor broke into a laughing sprint. Did not. Why, you, Ren chased after him, pumping her little arms and legs for all they're worth, her black cloak flapping behind her. Get back here. No, yes. Or no, yes. They raced through the village, turning heads of those who passed, and ran all the way to Notting Hill, where Yor stopped, huffing and puffing while catching his breath after cresting the northern rise. Ren crawled up beside him, just as huffing and puffing, with her face flushed with effort. She pointed ahead at the lone and dilapidated hovel of a house, standing on tilted lean amid a fenced field of tombstones. That's the place. Yor entered the graveyard, navigating between its scatter of tombstones, and strode toward the hovel. Ren followed. Go away, little girl. I'm not a little girl. This is Yor's quest. is not, is to, is not. Yor ignored her by singing his favorite song as he went. Yor has muscles, Yor tells jokes, and Yor likes tugging on his poke. Yor is brave, Yor is strong, and Yor loves making up his song. Yor, and something that rhymes with Yor. They arrived before the dilapidated hovel, where Yor beat the meat of his fist upon the rickety door, trembling to his awesome poundings. It tore from its hinges 3 knocks later and collapsed inwards with dust-puffing thump upon the floor. Wren frowned. Well, that was stupid. Now look what you've done. We'll have to pay for that door you'll have to pay for that out of your spit of the take. Yor strode inside, glanced around. Yor? From the back room, an elderly man, short and rotund, walked through the parting drape of moth-eaten curtains fading gray. Yes? Is someone there? Ah, hello, strangers. Are you Silas Shovelface? Wren asked. The elder undertaker nodded. I am he. Why, then his eyes lit up as he rubbed his hands together in a gesture old as greed. Do perhaps you have a loved one requiring burial? My services are priced quite fair, and— No, Wren interrupted. We're brave adventurers here for the quest. She lanced Yor a sidelong glance, sour eye, while adding, the both of us. You? Silas scrunched his chubby face while studying her. You are quite small, little girl. Why, I've seen dust bunnies in my— I've swept dust bunnies into my bin, more intimidating than you. She responded with an irritated scowl and fractious rolling of her eyes. This again? Yor advanced 2 steps and slapped at his proud puff of a chest. Yor will perform your quest, old fat man. Tell Yor where, and Yor will go. He looked at Wren and empathized. Alone. She crossed her arms and stuck out her tongue at him. Yes, well, Silas's face pinched tensed. He removed a dirty kerchief from his front vest pocket, dabbed his sweaty jowls and neck, then stowed it away. I suppose I have something to show you first, if you two mismatched adventurers are so inclined to brave retrieving my heirloom. Saying so, the undertaker turned away. And rescue your nephew, Wren said. What? Silas paused, half turning back. Oh, right. Yes, him too. He shrugged. Or not. Whatever. Come along. They followed Silas through the swishing drape of moth-eaten curtains into the back room, where lay supine a dead man's body, stripped to the buff atop a table. Upon the wall hung various instruments for embalming, as well as shovels for digging graves and saws for shortening the limbs of those too tall for the empty wooden coffins, which also lay on the floor or stood about in corners on tilted leans. Across the way, a makeup station, and beside it was a small table adorned with multiple jars of herbs, both for preparing bodies for public viewing before burial. Who is this? Yor asked of the corpse. Ugh, Wren pinched her offended nostrils closed to the foul odor dominating the air. It smells awful. He's dead. He's supposed to smell. Silas waddled around the table's opposite side, facing them while gesturing over the young man's corpse, its sternum cracked open and its organs already removed for herbal stuffing. And this is the last adventurer who failed my quest. His friends dragged him out in a harrowing escape so I could better relay this tale to the next brave adventurers willing to risk life and limb. He waved at various parts of the nude corpse's bitten body, missing chunks of flesh upon arm and leg, and then rolled its head aside and pointed at another missing chunk of flesh thereon the side of the neck. Ghouls, you see. They've troubled us ever since they took root inside that pesky dungeon outside the village. I used to give them the organs in exchange for leaving us alone, but I ran out. Angrily, they stole my heirloom and won't give it back until I provide them with more food, but there isn't any left. They've eaten it all. So they creep in every night looking to steal villagers away. If you've noticed, there aren't many of us left. He paused, face pinched, tensed, removed his kerchief, dabbed at his sweaty face and neck, then stowed it away before continuing. And something far worse lurks among them now. Silas turned the corpse's head the other way, revealing its hollow, blood-crusted eye sockets anew. A skull fucker? Wren dipped his hands beneath her flapping cloak, produced a thick book, opened it, flipped through the pages, then read it for a bit while closing and stowing it away beneath her cloak. Oh, no, she whispered with newfound enlightenment. A skull fucker? Silas nodded and repeated, a skull fucker. Yor scrunched his handsome face. What's a skull fucker? Isn't it obvious? Silas asked while pointing at the corpse's hollow eyes. A skullfucker fucks skulls, ergo the name. He's a barbarian, Rin said to the Undertaker, while beside her Yor contemplated all of the mysteries of a skullfucker that fucks skulls, ergoing such a name. She's not very bright. So he's not very bright. Silas nodded. Oh, right. Obvious barbarian is obvious. Yor doesn't care, Yor said, and pulled his impressive broadsword from its sheath to his back. On his sheath to his back. Yor will smite them all the same, and not with that you won't, Silas said, frowning, while shaking an admonishing finger. Yor frowned right back, but Yor's blade is mighty, old fat man. Why, Yor's father plunged it into... Silas waved him silent. If simple steel could kill them, then I would have no need for your services, barbarian. Direct sunlight burns the ghouls to ash, which is why they keep sleep during the day and only come out at night to feast upon human flesh, or whatever else they can scrounge if no humans are available. Fire makes quick work of them too, but plain steel only chops them up into wriggling pieces that they can sew back together. And so only a blessed weapon can truly kill a skullfucker deader than dead. But whom little remains of everyone here are too afraid to do anything but hide away behind barred doors before sunset. And all of the stupid, I mean brave adventurers before you have failed. What about your nephew? Ren asked. Silas scowled. Xander is a poor excuse for a novice magician. He bumbled some kind of spell or another on his first day at school and cursed himself, earning immediate expulsion from the Wizards Guild. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Jason. Good morning. Andrew says maybe the name was supposed to be a metaphor. Silas scowled. Oh, so he said... Then his mother apprenticed him to me so that he could earn the money back and repay her for his wasted tuition. Instead, he took off like a fart in the wind to recover my stolen heirloom after I spilled the beans over dinner the night he arrived. That was darn near 2 weeks ago. What's this heirloom of yours that needs to be gotten back so much? Ren asked. A plate? She frowned. A plate? Yes, Silas said. A plate. It's been in my family for generations and is very precious to me. She asked, why would they steal a stupid plate? He shrugged. They're ghouls. Ghouls are stupid. They have rotting mush for brains and couldn't count to one, even if they started at it. But I want my plate back. Oh, and Xander too, if he's still alive. His mother won't stop pestering me, and I'm running out of excuses for why he's never around. And when she comes nagging by demanding money. Yor will return your stupid plate, and your stupid nephew. Yor sheathed his broadsword to his back and crossed his beefy arms. Tell Yor where, and Yor will go. You'll need some holy water first. Silas dipped one hand into a pocket and produced a folded piece of paper. And this. It's a convenient map to the dungeon's exact location. Though very inconveniently, it has no details whatsoever of what awaits you inside. Rin darted forth and snatched the map away. Yoink! She shoved it inside her cloak and then stuck out her tongue at the frowning barbarian. Where's this holy water? Yor asked. Silas said, at the church, of course. A priest there will bless some for you. Why 100 gold coins? Ren asked. That's a hefty reward for a plate. Look around you, Silas said, while spreading his plump hand in a gesture at his dilapidated hovel. I am by no means a rich man, true, but my plate is the only thing I have left of my family. Well, other than my dolt nephew and my nagging sister. Memories are priceless. Okay, Rin said. We'll do it. 100 gold coins paid upon our return. If you return, Silas said, and with my heirloom. She nodded. And your nephew. Silas blinked at her. What? Oh, yes, him too. If he's back alive or not, whatever. It'll be back. I will be back, old fat man. Yor turned about and strode away. Wait, Ren scrambled after him outside the Undertaker's abode and continued walking beside him. Slow down. Yor sped his steps. No. Yes. You don't even know where you're going. Yor stopped, upturned one beefy palm, and waggled his thick fingers. Give me the old fat man's map. She retreated a spacious step, shaking her head. No. She pulled two little daggers to hand from beneath her flapping cloak, both 6 inches in length from pommel to tip. And if you touch me, jabby. She took her right dagger, and stabby, and she shook her left dagger. We'll make mincemeat out of you. Stray says, I love throwing in a ghoul here and there in a game. James says, Chekhov's yoink. You can't yoink in Act 1 if you aren't going to yeet by Act 3. Yor grit his teeth to snarl, by no means intimidated by such pathetic little daggers, and raised his mighty clenched fist, then lowered it seconds more, frowning. Yor doesn't hurt little girls. Yor follows a code of ethics, so Yor will let you come and show the way. That's right. Ren spun her little daggers through deft twirls and then returned them beneath her flapping cloak. But the church first, remember? We need that holy water. Hey, wait for me, you big galoot. But Yor already strode away, singing, Yor is mighty, Yor is bold, and Yor never does what he's told. So chapter 3, we'll keep going for just a couple more minutes. Chapter 3, debate and or break into 2. Yor and Ren prepare for their journey to satisfy their quest of retrieving the stolen heirloom and rescuing Silas's nephew Xander, or prepare for their journey to satisfy their quest of retrieving the stolen heirloom and rescuing Silas's nephew Xander while dealing with the skullfucker before leaving to do just that. They returned through Wrench Village and discovered its church, a small whitewashed building surrounded by snarls and tufts of overgrown weeds. Inside, and after explaining their quest, the old and balding priest blessed them a flask of holy water. But remember, the priest cautioned, the blessing fades over time. Yoink! Ren snatched the flask away and stowed it beneath her flapping cloak. How does Yor use the holy water? Yor asked. The priest said, pour it over your weapon and then hope for the best. Hope? Ren asked. Yes, the priest said, nodding. Hope. All faith is hope, and you must have faith for the blessing to work. Now come with me so we can further discuss your generous donation to the church upon your return. I'll just need your credit card information and your social security numbers, and hey, where are you going? Don't leave yet. But Yor and Ren stole away in a hurry, escaping the glaring priest, scowling at their shrinking backs as they fled. Act 2, Chapter 4, B-Story Subplot. Yor and Ren venture forth to resolve the story's central conflict, though they've yet to establish their true friendship. Yor viewing her as nothing more than a nuisance, while Ren views him nothing more than a means to an end. Although through some bonding time of personal sharing, they discover they have more in common than they realize, and Ren forces Yor to question what he wants versus what he needs by imposing the story's theme of friendship throughout the companionship and teamwork upon him. Yes, scowling at the shrieking backs. Yor sang his favorite song as he and Ren left the village behind. Hey, good morning, Retro. Good morning. This is quite one to listen to. Good to see you, Retro. Yor sang his favorite song as he and Ren left the village behind and traveled into the thicket of woods, because the woods are always involved in most journeys such as this. They strode through trails for hours, all while Ren guided them to proper purpose of route, utilizing Silas's afforded map of convenience. They arrived at dusk to the X-marked spot and then considered the foreboding dungeon awaiting them from their spying vantage while hunched and squat behind a concealing screen of trees and bushes. For the dungeon's entrance provided a gaping black maw where many pale ghouls already shambled in and or out and about, several yawning and stretching or both before taking their leave elsewhere. There's a lot of them, Ren whispered. Yor nodded. Yes, 100 Yors or more, maybe even 1,000 Yors. She rolled her eyes at the illogic of barbarian arithmetic while tallying a quick count of around 20 actual ghouls, and I'll bet there's probably a lot more of them inside. He raised his beefy hand over his boulder shoulder for the pulling out of his broadsword. Then Yor will charge in and chop them all to pieces and... No, she snatched a staying grab at his thick wrist, halting him from standing. There's too many, even for you. One infectious bite, and you'll turn into one of them. So it's best if we wait until morning, when they're all sleeping inside again. He frowned. Have you not heard your song? Then he began the melodious recital. Your kills monsters, your slay fiends, and yours always washes behind his quiet, she shouted in terse whisper, defeating the purpose of both shout and whisper in an oxymoron of response. Or they'll hear you. And yes, I've heard your song. You've sung it 100 times over our way here. But there's no point in fighting through all of them and risking a bite if we don't need to. Quest smarter, not harder. He frowned again. Well, I'm going to have to use that when we play Hero Quest or Dragon Strike with the nephews again. Quest smarter, not harder. He frowned again. But Yor lives to fight and drink and bed the women's. Smiling, he raised his hand and proceeded to squeeze imaginary bosoms in emphasis. Lots and lots of plump. I know, she said, swatting his hand down. And stop that. You'll get your chance to fight this skullfucker once we're inside. Besides, we'll do better after a good night's rest. Agreed? He sighed. It took me a moment to figure out what was happening. So this is the story. The book has this sample story in it for its structure on how to write this novella in 10 days. Start earlier to hear the theory before we got here. Start earlier to hear the theory. He sighed, though nodded acquiescence. Yor is a little tired, yes? They decided better entry into the morning when the ghouls therein lay sleeping, and so sneaked retreat to a safer mile and then made camp nestled in the shrouding woods. Wren collected several small handfuls of sticks after shaving some kindling to pile with one of her sharp little daggers, built a fire using a bit of flint from within her cloak. They sat opposite each other in the flourishing night, while a lone owl hidden high among umbrageous branches hooted now and again. After a bored time in which sleep proved elusive, Yor asked, "Why are you still here?" "Our quest, remember?" Wren paused while considering him through the small campfire, throwing dances of flickering light and shadow play between them, her head pulled up to ward off the night's pervading chill. "And my father's a dungeon master, and that's why I can break the fourth wall. He taught me everything I know. Plus, I have this." Smirking deviant, she delved one arm deep inside her cloak and produced a thick book. The official Dungeon Master Manual. It's basically an encyclopedia of everything Dungeons and Monsters. She pausing shrug. "I stole it before I left." You carry a lot. You carry a lot. She stashed the book away beneath her cloak and continued. "Not really. And not on me. My cloak is special. The elven weave makes it waterproof and fireproof. Plus, it has a secret portal pocket that I can reach into and grab whatever I need from my private stash, which just so happens to be inside the senile wizard's home I stole it from. Father expected me to take up the family business when he retires, but I've always wanted to adventure, not design. He loves it, but for me, designing is the stuff of boring, and so I ran away. And look for this. And to look for, well, never mind. I also meant to become the world's bestest thief ever in all of Fantasyland." She erupted into standing, hood falling over her shoulders, widening her stance, fisting her hips with arms akimbo, turned her head slightly up and the left in presentation of her profile. She held the pose for seconds while fish-eyeing Yor for some response, who only stared at her, and she plopped down and continued her backstory. "My only problem being that every thieves' guild I've tried to join has rejected me. Their guild masters say the same thing every time, that they won't accept me until I get more experience under my belt. See my problem? So I'm stuck on my own, ready and willing, until you snatched my first quest from the community board." "Yours quest," he emphasized, while understanding almost none of what she'd explained, his primitive barbarian intellect unable to comprehend the fourth wall, let alone breaking it. Wren frowned and emphasized right back. "Our quest now. You need me because I know things, and what I don't know, the book provides. Yor needs no one. Yor is just fine on his own." Her frown deepened to scowl, so she shook an admonishing finger at him. "Look here, you big lummox. I'm not going anywhere, so you might as well accept it. We're partners now, see? At least until this quest is over." Ha ha ha. Okay, that's why I can break the fourth wall. Should have happened a lot earlier because now I'm on board. Yor expelled a dismissive grunt. How many quests have you been on so far? She asked. He grunted a wide shelf of shoulders. Yor can't count. Oh, right. So have you accomplished any epics yet? Again, he shrugged. Well, this very morning, Yor made an epic poop. Ren held out her hand with a random number of fingers sprayed. How many? This many? More? Yor shrugged again. He looked away as silence dominated. Ren huffed a tense breath. Are you always so talkative? Yes. And what can you do that Yor cannot? You are tiny. Monsters will eat you. Why, a hungry kitten could carry you away, and I'm not tiny. I'm small-boned. Besides, don't you get it? I'm the brains and you're the brawn of this operation, so we're a perfect match. Yor has plenty of brains. Oh, yeah? Where? In Yor's, chest. No foot. No, wait, elbow. She fetched a breathy sigh while rolling her eyes. And what about magic? No, I didn't think so. She paused and smiled. But I do. Yor's handsome brow furrowed. What's magic? The senile wizard I stole my cloak from is also an alchemist with a bunch of different potions. He's constantly making them and then forgetting how many he's made, and that's why he never notices me stealing them. And with them, I can do lots of cool stuff. My favorite one is turning invisible, but it only happens while I'm holding my breath. It doesn't really work unless I'm naked, though. And each potion only lasts me a couple of minutes, or sometimes seconds, depending on the circumstances allowed by the plot. But still, naked? Masculine interest piqued, he inquired. Let Yor see you naked. What? No. Then Yor doesn't believe you. I don't care if you believe me or not. You're lying. Am not. R2. Am not. R2. Fine. Ren erupted into standing again and pointed at him. I'll prove it. But turn around, and no peeking until I say. Got it? Maybe it's like Doctor Strange's cape, since it's stolen from a wizard. That's why it's always flapping. Okay, Yor turned around as bidden, swishing on his bottom while facing away. Grumbling all manner of cusses blistering in the air, Ren opened her cloak, delved one arm up into the elbow inside her secret portal pocket, groped around her private stash located miles away. Not that distance mattered to the magical portal therein, fumbled her fingers over daggers and lockpicks and various foodstuffs and other items readily available to her unless the story requires otherwise, and removed a tiny glass vial of smoky white liquid. She popped its cork top, drank it empty, then tossed the vial aside, after which she undressed to the buff. Okay. Yor began to turn around. Wait, not yet. I have to hold my breath, dummy. That's how the potion works, remember? So count to 5. But Yor doesn't know how to count. Then wait a moment before looking. How many Yors is a moment? She huffed in a turf breath. Pick your nose, both nostrils. After that, you can turn around. Yor waited a while, picking his nose. He soon discovered a prize booger, rolled it between his pointer and thumb, nodded while admiring the impressive find, and then flicked it away. After which he turned around, twisting on his bottom, and stared at Ren no longer there, but for her clothes piled upon the ground beside her empty boots. Where are you? No response. Yor doesn't see anything. Something stomped in the space of Ren's absence. Huh, she must have left. Good. Yor leaned forward and poked the fire's glowing nest of coals with a stick for a moment overlong. Another harder stomp of an invisible foot. He ignored it. 3 more insistent stomps. He ignored those 2. A breathy exhalation, and Ren resolved visible, appearing naked, her hands fisted to her hips, an admonishing challenge. Turn away! Yor gasped at her. Oh no, she startled, and made quick to cover her bare breasts and crotch. I said turn away, you creeper. He smiled. Yor saw a nipple. Stop ogling my naughty bits. She bent and fetched her clothes from the ground, inhaled a deep gulp of air, chambered it overlong, and returned invisible. Yor watched the floating clothes shift about through the air to her quick dressing manipulations of effort, after which Ren blew out her flushed cheeks and resolved visible again. Happy now? Oh, Yor watched the floating clothes shift about through the air to her quick dressing manipulations of her effort. He turned her head. Yor wasn't paying attention. Do it again. No! She plopped down, scowling, and fiddled with a twig in the dirt for some time, flicked it into the fire between them. I do have a little natural magic, too. I can curse people, but only once a day, and it doesn't last long. Warily, Yor considered her over the fire. Curse? She nodded. It steals their luck into me. Yor's brow knitted. How? My mother was a beautiful witch. Father fell in love with her and married her, and she passed a tiny bit of her hex magic onto me. She glanced, her glance pausing away. She disappeared a while ago, I guess. A pausing fiddle in the dirt with her toying finger. I guess that's the real reason why I'm here, to eventually find her. Yours, sorry. Thanks. So what about your parents? A dragon ate yours mother. Yours father hunted and fought it, chopped off one of its horns, and scarred its face before it ate him too. Now Yor is all alone. Oh, I'm sorry. Yor is too. Silence. After a time, Ren asked, so what else can you do besides punch people? Yor can chop them up or stab them. Yor's father plunged his broadsword into an evil wizard's back, a black heart, many years ago. That's why his pet dragon took revenge on Yor's mother. After that, Yor's sword never dulls and never rusts. That's rather convenient. Yes, he said, it is. He paused. Or it would be if Yor knew what convenient meant. She pointed at him. See, you're all brawn and no brains. I'm all brains and, well, no brawn. That's why we'll work great together. So long as you stay out of Yor's way. Besides, she continued, ignoring his rebuke, I have lots of lockpicks in my private stash and know how to use them. The one thing I've always loved about designing was the dungeon traps and how best to evade them. He frowned. Traps are stupid. Yor hates traps. Yeah, well, every dungeon has them. She hiked a thumb through her shoulder, pointing behind her the way they'd returned from making camp. And I guarantee you that one does too. But with me, you can disarm them. Though I have a feeling you're used to just smashing your way through. Am I right or am I right? Yor nodded. All right, well, we've been going for an hour and a half. So what we've been looking at here is a sample story inside the book, the 10-day Novella writing method for plotters and pantsers. So if you were just tuning in, and welcome to all those tuning in, or if you're watching on replay, also welcome, of course. So this is the 10-day Novella writing method. So we went through a bit of theory, and then we're going through an example story. Please do the moral thing and like the stream. If you are interested in more, well, let's see here. So the adventures of Yor the Mighty, if you want to know how Yor the Mighty ends up, there we go. The not so legendary adventures of Yor the Mighty right here. Yor can be found right there, but then also the 10-day novel writing method is right here. So this is the 10-day novel writing method. This is the book with the theory in it as well. 10-day novel writing method. By Adron Smitley, who has been in the chat with us. And then also, hey, don't forget to also check out, Retro Nerd Girl's channel. She's been in the chat. Check out Polly's channel. And then also, so Polly is also on Indiegogo right now for They Call Me Charleston, a new novella, help the Latino slant launch a new series of science fiction and fantasy novels. Oh, that link didn't go. The 10-day writing method. There we go. So please do check out all of that. Everybody, please do be creative, be productive. I got a meeting this afternoon. Oh, and then tonight. Oh, I didn't have this up. Ha, ha, ha. So, yes. So, there we are. Yor the Mighty. I meant to have that up. Yor the Mighty. They Call Me Charleston. And the 10-day writing guide. Meanwhile, also, Arcane tonight. I got to go talk to Brianna. I got stuff to do. I got to talk to Brianna tonight. Arcane tabletop stream tonight. 7:00 p.m. Enter. There we go. There's the link. Goodbye, everybody. Be creative, be constructive, and grind on. Later.